Hopefully if I've done my job properly, it should have minimal impact on how we do that, because we've put in additional infrastructure to support the TETRA talk groups that we're going to be using for the Olympics. So day-to-day communications should not be affected by the way we're approaching the Olympics. In terms of handling information, then we've had to put in special measures, because unusually for us in London, where we manage our major events from, the Special Operations Room, we don't normally interact to a great degree with business as usual, because we have a defined geographic area of responsibility. However, for the Olympics, this is pan-London. So pan-London means we will have to interact more with business as usual. So the way we interface with other technologies using business as usual will be different for the Olympics. It just means a little bit more staff I have to use within the control room. Airwave and TETRA, minimal impact though. Yes and no. The way we've approached it is to look at the amount of resources we're going to put into the Olympics, and quite unusually we'll be using police officers from outside of London in the operation as well. So having looked at how many officers we're going to put on to the event, and some days it will be up to 9,000 officers across the 24-hour period, we've built a specific infrastructure to support that demand. Now, in addition to that, we've rented extra spectrum for the period, onto which we will put our dedicated Olympic talk groups to ensure, or try to ensure, that there's no capacity issues, even though we've got dedicated spectrum. We've put the talk groups into different folders within the fleet plans of our handheld sets, and certain users will log on to the same talk groups but in different folders. So in the rare eventuality that there are capacity issues, we can prioritise those folder users. So the key communicators who've logged on to the talk group in one folder will have the priority over the same or different users on the same talk group in a different folder. So that's the slight difference that we've employed there. That's part and parcel of the preparation for any event that we manage in London. That's part of the guiding principles that we go through when we're looking at the communications plan for any event. And that falls under the sort of the overarching banner of contingency. Now we look at the contingency that's required to respond to an incident. That's the officers that we're going to deploy to that. And then once I know that picture, I build in the communications contingency on how we're going to manage the communications for that eventuality. So it's there waiting to be used for every event, and the Olympics is no different. We've built in the contingency for that. We've got an additional, if we need it, an additional 2,500 officers to deploy to any major unexpected event that's occurring, for which I've built a separate communications plan to support. So it's part and parcel of every single planning event that we have in London. Need or want, slightly different. I think what would be useful, coming up in the future, is perhaps direct access to the automatic number plate recognition databases, and not by typing in the number perhaps, but by taking an image of the number plate would be useful. And also perhaps access to the graphical information system, location database information, so an officer going to a venue can have on his handheld that critical police information. I'm looking forward to find out what the next 5-year plan is around the development alongside LTE and broadband. What's the options for interoperability or an amalgamation of the two systems, and what's the impact and implications for us as a user. And I'm looking forward to meeting other police officers from around the world, particularly those that are just embarking upon the TETRA programme. They're the people I want to be able to impart the knowledge I've gained over the last 7 years as the officer in charge of the Special Operations Room, and tell them the mistakes we've made so they don't make the same mistakes.